Hello everyone, welcome to Salva Global. We are with another episode of Artificial Intelligence and I have Devin with me today. Hello Devin.
Hello, how are you, Sidath?
Doing fine, thank you. So
Okay.
Devin, today we are going to talk about different GPT software that we have today or applications as we
Yeah.
may call, and we are going to look at a comparison of these applications. So
Yes.
we discussed what ChatGPT and all these GPT applications are in one of our previous episodes. We will put a link to that now. If you all want to see that, you all can go and watch it and then get an idea of what these GPT software are. We suppose most of you all already use this software for your daily lives, and today we will be comparing 5 of these software. So Devin, can you just give a small introduction to these 5?
Yes. So today we are going to discuss about ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, Perplexity AI, and Claude AI. We are going to give them three prompts, exactly three prompts, and let's see how they turn out to be. So one is more related to a very an algebraic solution. So it's a very simple one. It's a mathematical solution. Then we are going to go to some of the physics and electrical engineering application, mostly physics, I would say, or electrical engineering. And that's also a circuit theory application, which anybody could solve with a calculator or with, in the golden days, a logarithmic table. And then there is a coding question, which we involve CUDA applications and C++. And we are going to solve the matrix vector multiplication, which is ax equals b. So we want to solve for x, and we are having a matrix A and ax equals b. We have the solutions for, we have the values for b, so we need to have the solutions for x. So these are the three prompts which we are planning to put into the 5 GPT models, and afterwards we are planning to rate them.
Thanks, Devin. So, rating we will do as bad, average, and good. Bad
Okay.
being an answer which is completely useless or unrelated or doesn't make any sense, or
Right.
basically doesn't achieve what we want the AI to achieve. Average
Okay.
is where it gives some kind of a solution or a partial answer to the problem, but not
Mhm.
exactly what we are looking for. And then, of course, good means it gives exactly the answer we are looking for. Of course,
Yeah.
maybe additional. Sometimes AI models tend to explain more. That's perfectly fine. But
Yeah.
it gives the primary result that we are looking for. So before we move on, we want to inform all our viewers that we are using the free versions of all 5 of these applications.
Yes.
So all of you all can simply sign up with your email. We have signed up using our emails. These are almost fresh applications. We haven't asked any question from these. So these are fresh accounts which we will be using for our demonstration today. And today's date is the 8th of September 2024. So all these modules are at today's date, updated as of today's date, and we will have this comparison as it is. So shall we start, Devin?
Yeah, sure. Let's start off with the first one, which is the
First one.
quadratic equation.
So I'm going to first start off with ChatGPT.
Wonderful.
So I just pasted it. So Devin, you can see the equation was properly typed. So we know that the GPT has properly understood the question.
Yeah.
At least we hope so.
Yeah. 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 Okay, so let's go down.
Yeah.
It's
So
called-
first of all, just to
Yeah.
identify, it has also identified that this is a quadratic formula. So that is also good,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then the applicable equation that we usually use to solve quadratic equations also have been identified.
Yes.
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 Right. Okay. So you can
That makes
explain.
sense.
Yeah.
And then the substitution also seems all right. Yeah, it seems all right. And then, okay. So this gives us a complex conjugate, which
Okay.
is plus, this is a complex number. So that means the value inside the square root is a negative number.
Yes.
So then you have a complex conjugate.
Right.
Of course, the complex conjugate seems correct,
Okay.
but it would be better if we have the square root of 11 as well. That's
Okay.
3.3, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
and then you have a simplified version of it. But here they simply say the value is, they don't simplify it. So they have
Yes.
the value as it is and they show the value. So
But
let's,
I think it's an acceptable solution, correct?
yeah, yeah, it could go more, but yeah, you
Yeah.
can say that it's good.
Right. So shall we give full marks? Shall we make it a good answer?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Right. So ChatGPT scores. Right. So then we can paste the same to Gemini. So here also it identifies that it's a quadratic formula and
Mhm.
also type the equation properly, and then
Yeah.
formula is also there. So shall we see the end result? What do you say?
This is same as the previous one. They are,
Okay.
oh, yeah, it's same as the previous one. So there is no difference between the ChatGPT answer and this one,
Right.
because none of these applications give us the final value. It all, both of the applications give us a non-simplified version of the final value. You can
Yes.
simplify it
Yes.
more with the decimal places. But all
Right.
in all, I don't think if we gave ChatGPT 100, this should also get 100 for this particular solution.
Definitely. Okay. So now we'll go to Copilot.
So what happens if one of the models give us a simplified version of it? Are we going to demerit the?
Then we'll see. Yes. Yes. I think we'll reduce the rest, and then we'll make this the best answer or whatever.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay.
Same. Yes.
So they don't simplify it. I wonder why.
No, because we have only asked to solve, right? We haven't asked to simplify.
Hmm.
So that may be the reason, because we haven't asked for the most simplified version. So Copilot also then gets pretty much the same answer. So I think we
Yeah.
are good there.
Yeah.
And let's try Perplexity.
Okay. Now this.
Yes, same.
Can you go? Can you go? Yeah. The equation seems okay. Can you scroll up a little bit? Here there is a difference in explaining, right?
Yes,
They have taken the b squared minus 4ac. They
separately.
have analyzed it separately and they
Yes.
have then taken it. So it's like most of it. I think it's clear than the, as far as the answer goes. We
Clearer
can
than
rate
the
it,
rest.
but it seems clear compared to the previous ones because the here anybody could understand the step by step calculation. No?
Right. Okay. Okay. So what do we do? I think we will stick
Yeah,
at
but
100.
yeah, we can stick with the same number, same
Okay.
mark.
Okay. So then we have finally Claude AI.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
What happened?
no, no. So we have
Okay.
to. It's a
Okay. Oh, so you assigned a name for that. Okay. Now you can start talking.
yes, yes, yes. So here the representation seems to be much more poorer, I guess, because the others the representations were in a very similar form to how we do calculations, but here it's all typed
Ah.
in the same line, and it's a more
Yeah,
more
yeah, it's like when you type a code or something like that, right?
exactly, exactly.
But see this is very interesting. If you go, if you if I'm not mistaken, just
Yes.
scroll down a little bit. Okay, so I think it's just before, therefore, the two complex solutions are. So
Yes.
yeah, they define what J or I is.
All
I
right.
didn't see
Yeah.
the definition in the other four.
Let's see. Let's see. We'll just double check. Yes, here there is. Yeah, it doesn't talk about the imaginary. Ah, wait. It talks. Where I is the imaginary unit.
Okay.
Yeah. So Perplexity has it. Copilot. Let's see. No, Copilot does not really talk about. Yeah.
But even though if you go back to Perplexity, you could see that they define that it's the complexity, complex value,
Yes.
imaginary value, but it doesn't say that what I stands for. Whereas in Claude AI,
Hmm.
it's it specifically says squared of
Squared
I
of
is
plus one. Yes. We can just double check Google Gemini also. Yeah, Gemini doesn't talk about it at all. It just gives I. Yes. And then if you look at ChatGPT, yes, it's the same. So ChatGPT and Gemini solutions seem very close.
yeah.
And the others, if you look at Claude AI and Perplexity, seem more explained, and it gives more explanations to how to solve the equation.
But as far as neatness go,
Yes.
I think Claude AI has something to do with the neatness, because if you
Yes.
look at Gemini and as you said, Gemini as well as ChatGPT, it looks concise and it looks neat and yeah.
Yes. So the representation wise, I think these four are better, whereas
Hmm.
Claude AI has to improve on their representation when it comes to mathematical formula.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So we
All
have
right.
100
Yeah.
for all. That's very good. Let's go to the second one.
Good start.
Good start. Yes.
Until you type it or
Yes.
copy it. So this is basically what we are planning to do is we have a matrix which we call A. So it's a symmetrical matrix. Then we have a vector which is X. Now the X, we don't know the values of X, but we know the values of B.
Okay.
So mathematically speaking, we need to find A inverse B.
Right.
But in all the computing algorithms, we don't do the inversion of the matrix A. What we do is we have some factorization methods. We can discuss about factorization methods in another video. We solve algebraic equations for X. Now, what CUDA on NVIDIA GPUs do is we can make this faster by using GPUs. So we are using AX equals B. We want to solve AX equals B, but we can use the GPU and do that. So that's the basic understanding of this. Now this A matrix is a positive definite matrix which is sparse as well. So for this, we are going to prompt this to all the GPT models, and let's see how they turn out to be, and let's see what actually we can do about this problem.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Here goes. So it identified the equation. It identified the problem properly, the conjugate gradient, right? And it's giving some C++ code, as we can see.
Yeah.
So for someone who is not familiar with coding, this is a code written using C++. So C++
Yeah.
is used for a lot of applications. It's one of the most famous and the most widely used programming languages in computers. And even if you look at Windows XP, and most of the Windows kernel has been written on C++.
So is it complete? Its generation?
It's going on. I think it's giving a pretty comprehensive answer.
Yeah, so you can see that in the memory allocation, it identifies that we are talking about something called the GPU, and it does the memory allocation in the GPU, and
Right.
it copies the values from the CPU to the GPU.
Right.
Scroll up just for a
Scroll up. Okay. Oh, here
and
we go. Memory
yeah,
alloc,
yeah,
malloc, isn't
yes.
it? Yes.
So yeah, malloc means you're allocating the memory,
Yes.
and memory copy means you're copying the values from the GPU, sorry, from the CPU to the GPU.
Yes.
And if you go down, you can see that they are retrieving the BLAS BLA's library as well as sparse library, and
Right.
then they solve it using the sparse library, and it seems okay.
Hmm.
But the problem is, if we shall we prompt the other ones
Yes.
and
Yes. Sure.
see the issues, or okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this
And
seems
also we can.
okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
This
It
seems
seems okay.
average.
Yeah. Yeah. So also it has given a very simple explanation as well. So it talks
Yeah.
about the components used, CU sparse, CU blast, and conjugate gradient algorithm. And of
Right.
course, the requirements have been properly identified, I guess, the CUDA toolkit and
Yeah.
these libraries. And of course, you need a GPU, which is obviously
Yeah. Yeah.
NVIDIA in
Yeah.
this case,
Makes sense.
because,
Makes sense.
yeah, because we are asking for a CUDA code.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go to
So let's
Gemini. Yeah.
put it as average for the time being.
Yeah, or we'll put the marks later, shall we?
Okay.
Okay. So here also we can see pretty much a good explanation, and one very important distinction here is it was very fast,
Hmm.
way faster than ChatGPT in this case. So I think
And
Gemini probably is better at doing coding. Well, it should
so,
be. Right?
but the problem is they don't retrieve the required libraries, right?
Libraries, yes.
Only has CUDA.h. It seems that they are creating their own kernel.
Oh, right.
So the kernel is the function which you generate in the GPU. So it seems that they are. So if you look into this SPMB, can you go back to the code?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this means the dot
SPMB.
product.
Hmm.
So SPMB, that's a CUDA kernel.
Right.
So you define you define the block size and the grid size there, and then there are two other kernels. When there's a dot product, so there are three kernels happening, and on top of that, there is a memory copying happening from the GPU to the CPU.
GPU too. Yeah. Yeah.
There you can see that CUDA mem copy.
Yes. Yes. I
So
can
they
see.
don't solve everything in the GPU and come back to the CPU. In fact, they are doing an intermediate copying from the GPU to the CPU. So this seems quite fishy, and I don't know how this 250. Okay. So here they have taken the 255 and 256 numbers are coming because of the vector multiplication in the GPU, because they
GPU.
have X and Y and Z. So that seems okay. But I don't agree with this, because they are using their own CUDA kernel functions, and I believe that if we could use the functions that are already provided by NVIDIA, or yeah, any other library, that would be more efficient.
So in this case, I think this has tried to reinvent the wheel, sort of, I guess. And it
Something
is,
like that. Yeah,
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 yeah.
something like
Okay.
that. Yeah, makes
All
sense.
right. So we'll try Copilot. Of course, it's by Microsoft. Let's see what we can expect from them. So here it uses the libraries properly, I guess. Runtime library, and yeah. Of course, I think we need to run these algorithms to see, or the codes to see whether they are working perfectly.
Yeah,
And
that's a different that's a
yes,
different story. But at the
we can
glance,
probably do that on another video and see what the
yes,
results are. Yes.
here, because we have to have the matrix generated somewhere else, because we are only saying to solve it.
Yes,
So we have
correct.
to have the generated matrix. as far as Copilot goes, it seems that it's the same code that generated in ChatGPT.
Right.
It
But did it
seems
have these functions? Did it use these
it
functions?
had blast and
Oh yes, yes, yes. It has.
so he's using the Copilot is using the
Same library.
same libraries as ChatGPT.
Yes,
So I
yes. But I
don't.
think it got stuck.
Did it? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, then that's a mess.
No, we can give it a few more seconds to see whether it responds. And we'll type this in Perplexity also. We'll go to a new thread.
Yes.
Right. So it's generating the answer.
Yeah. Here they don't use blast.
Hmm. No, CU sparse has been used.
Yeah, but blast library is
Blast
not
has
used.
not been used. Now it talks about blast.
Okay, talks about blast.
Yeah, yeah.
Does it generate its own kernel functions?
No, right? What do you think? It doesn't have the vectors and all being used in this.
Okay, so he's doing he uses
It's not he, it's it, I guess.
oh yeah well
We don't
that's all
know.
right.
We don't know the. We can ask that also on a
In
future
a
lecture, I
different
guess.
video whether it's a
Yes,
he or
yes.
a it. Okay. So it uses blast, right? It uses blast here,
Right.
but it doesn't call the library, does it? So there is a major blunder there if it doesn't call
Oh,
the
you mean from at the top?
yeah, I don't
Yes,
see it
yes,
calling it.
yes,
So
yes,
yeah, that's a major blunder.
yes.
Even though it might the code might be right, but it's
That's true.
not calling the blast library.
Library, yes.
So blast means basic linear algebra for anybody.
Okay.
So if you go
Nice.
to yeah,
So Claude. Okay, so it opened up a new window. I wonder whether we can run the. Oh, we can publish the code directly from here, I guess.
so here also I think it generates its own CUDA kernels.
Yes.
I'm not a fan of generating your own CUDA functions for something which has already been developed.
Yes, that's true.
When a person develops something, I believe that it has its optimized version.
Yes, yes.
So by generating your own kernel functions, it reduces that optimized part. But here it uses parse and blast as well. And memory allocation is done. Yeah, so this is all right.
So now we can start awarding marks for the 5 solutions we got. So what do you think, Devin?
Yeah, so going to ChatGPT, it seems all right,
Okay.
but as we discussed earlier, it doesn't retrieve the DSS or CUDA direct sparse solving library. So I would go with average on it.
Okay. Okay.
And the same thing is represented in Copilot as well as Claude AI. So if you give ChatGPT some marks, I believe that the other two also should get the same mark.
Okay. Copilot and what was it?
Claude AI.
Claude AI. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that leaves us with Perplexity and Gemini. Gemini. The problem with Perplexity AI, which I have, is that it calls BLAS library functions. Unfortunately, it doesn't call the library in the beginning.
Yes.
So we will have to demerit it a little bit comparatively. Whereas in Gemini, it only has its own kernel functions. It doesn't use the libraries. So I believe that it should be penalized more comparatively.
Right.
So all in all, they generate a pretty good code, but it's not the best. You could go more. So
Right. So we'll give 50 to ChatGPT, correct?
yeah, I would say it's
ChatGPT.
average. Yeah.
And then
Uh, and
ChatGPT,
Copilot as
Copilot,
and Claude AI as well.
Claude AI. And these ones we'll do an exception and give 25 maybe.
Yeah, we can get a little bit more than
More than
25 for
okay.
Perplexity AI,
Right.
and
Maybe 40.
yeah, that would do. And for the Gemini, we can yeah, 25 would do, because that's
Okay.
not bad, because that's a complicated issue. So
Yes.
they did a fairly good job. Yeah.
Very good. So just to do a small explanation to this algorithm, now we
Yeah.
wanted to show our viewers that this is a freely available algorithm online. A
Yeah.
simple Google search will bring up the code. So this is
Yeah.
the page on NVIDIA. As you can see, it has nicely explained this problem. And the code is available. They have given 3 examples. And if you
Yeah.
go to one of these links, you can see a GitHub repository. So all that the AI had to do actually was to pull the code from this and retype it. But as we know, GPT models are not really built purely to pull something and just give it out. So it has its own analysis as well, and that's probably what we saw in these different models, which is actually commendable in a way, but
Mhm.
may not be the most ideal when it comes to freely available algorithms online where you want the GPTs to act more like a search engine per se. So that
Yeah.
is something that I think which we need to note.
Yeah.
So we go to the last one. So we'll
So this is just yeah, just to explain what's happening here. There in the last question, it's a circuit question where you have a resistor and an inductor connected in series with a 100-volt AC supply. So when we say 100-volt AC supply, it's given that it's an RMS value, root mean squared value, and it has a frequency of 50 hertz. So we are asking the instantaneous current value at the 3-second point, starting the value from 0. So it has to have the idea of complex numbers and how it works in electrical engineering, and it also needs to have the idea of trigonometry as well. So let's see whether these ideas and these concepts are correctly executed in the, the 5 GPT models.
okay. So we start with ChatGPT. So it again identifies the values properly, I guess. R
Yeah.
is
Okay. Yeah.
inductance, then
Yeah. So they make the impedance, so that seems fair. So they find out the impedance value first, which is the square root of it. So that seems okay. They find the flux current, okay, and yeah, okay, right, and yes. So if we go back here, we have to have the if you go to the angle, what is 1.475 is the angle, so that
okay,
seems correct.
right.
And in fact
You
they,
mentioned in radians, correct? So
yes,
this
so
is in degrees.
they did the conversion.
Yes, yes.
Oh, no worries. There, the conversion is done, and then they calculate the RMS value, which is 3.1 something, which is all right. Let me check. Okay, 3.168 is it the value? Okay, that
Yeah,
seems
that's
okay.
correct. Yeah, yeah.
And then they do they multiply it by square root 2? No, this is the problem. 3.16. Yeah, so they don't multiply this by square root 2, right? So it should be multiplied by the square root 2. and it doesn't do that.
Right. And then the final answer is it still correct though? Or is it wrong?
No, unfortunately, it can't be correct because it doesn't multiply it by, yeah, it's
Yes.
not correct.
It's not correct, right.
Yeah. So if they haven't multiplied it by root 2.
So
So
until this point, I guess it's correct, but after that, it hasn't followed
yeah, that
steps
seems
properly.
correct. And even though if you go down,
Yeah.
here there's this function where you have the sine waveform and you multiply it by root 2, that root 2 is not there. Other than that, it seems okay.
All right. Okay. So then we'll go to Gemini. So this doesn't show much of the workings in mathematical formula form,
Hmm.
but it has applied the formula.
Yeah, it has applied the formula, and then it makes things worse. It doesn't have the root 2,
Okay.
and of course, it doesn't convert everything to radiant as well. So it should have converted into radians, but it doesn't do that. So it's bad.
Bad. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Go with that for that.
So it looks like Gemini has a long way to go. At least ChatGPT had this accusation some time back that it couldn't do mathematical calculations well, but I
Right.
guess it has increased.
But yeah,
It has
from this
improved a lot.
example, we can say that it's improved. I hate this user interface. This way of
Yes,
presenting it, it's a headache.
that's true. It doesn't have the mathematical representations inbuilt, I guess.
I know, I know. It's very hard to see. It's with
Ah, no,
it
these
shows
are the sources, I guess, no? Yes.
right,
So
right.
those
It
are
shows
just images
right.
drawn from the net.
So first things first, I don't like this font.
Yes.
So it seems very. I think
Congested.
it's yeah, exactly, and it seems like a LaTeX code. Is it a LaTeX code?
Yes, it seems like that.
But yeah, you can see that it gives quite the same answer.
But the answer is different. It's 1.44 amperes.
1.44. So it's same as the ChatGPT answer, right?
No,
Was it?
ChatGPT gave 2.98.
What
So
about
this
Gemini?
is actually halved. Almost halved, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's very bad. One thing we can't. It's very difficult to read,
Yes.
and it's not user friendly at all.
Right.
And the final answer is also wrong. So I don't. I think it's all over the place.
Right. So these steps are also wrong, is it?
Yeah, it seems that the first step is all right,
Right.
and then you have the peak current. They do this root to multiplication is done here, so it seems okay to have that. But no, it's also not doing that. Yeah, so the steps are also everywhere.
Everywhere.
The main
Okay.
problem here is that it would have been better if it was clearly presented,
Presented. That's true.
but it's not that good of a presentation of Copilot. So I think it's the worst out of the three which we saw.
So far. Let's see Perplexity. So here it's presented very well, I guess. But
Yeah,
the last bit, not so much.
yeah,
But
they
it's
do
still
the
generating. It's
text
still
can be
generating. So I think it's presented very well. We can see the equation is also okay. The first
yeah,
equation. And
yeah.
is this correct? Has the radian conversion been done?
Yeah, so up until here, you don't need the radians, not yet. We only need the radians at the sign there.
Okay.
So there you can see that they have clearly multiplied it by the root 2 value.
Right.
So they have got the maximum value correctly. So they are using the radians.
Hmm.
Is it? Are they? I think so, no? Because now at 942, and yeah, it seems all right. But because I got 4.46,
Okay,
Here
so I
they
think this
have,
is correct.
yeah, this is correct, but I think that this radiance issue is they have got this minus and plus. They have made some incorrect approximations for the radiance. I think if it had been minus, it would have been. Yeah, it seems all right. No, no, no. I
Okay.
don't think so. It's a problem. But yeah.
So this is a pretty good
Yeah,
calculation, I guess,
yeah,
overall.
overall it seems okay. Yeah, comparatively, I would say that it's good. Can we go scroll down a little bit?
Yeah.
I think the problem here is it's not 100% correct because of this minus plus issue.
Right.
That depends on how they define the initial waveform. So they say that it's plus 1.4, which I got as minus 1.4. So that's the only issue that they had. But all in all, the magnitude up until here they identified it. I don't want to say it's the best because it still gives us an incorrect representation of it.
Okay.
So what I would say is it's quite good. So we could say that it's not the best, but it's above average.
Right. Okay, very good. So we'll go to Claude. So it gives a very brief explanation, and it solved it in 5 steps, but the value seems to be off. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, that's wrong.
It's
So
wrong. Completely
it's
wrong, is it?
completely wrong. So it's not in the even in the order of it.
Okay.
So 4.46 is the correct value.
Right.
If we got that value, then we are okay. But the closest value which we got is from the
Perplexity.
previous one, Perplexity. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes. All right. So let's rate it. So ChatGPT, we are giving an
So the
average.
ChatGPT problem was it didn't have root two, so it's
Yes.
of course it didn't come close. So I would say that it's closer to average, but it's not there.
It's not average. So we give
No,
40.
yeah, yeah, yeah. At least you need to have, yeah.
Okay. Then Gemini
Can, yeah,
was
was it the off one? No, no.
no. It was, well, sort of. Well, no,
Yeah,
not as bad as Copilot,
yeah.
but this one was also, it didn't have the radian conversion, I
Conversion.
guess. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah.
So this will make it 0 or
Even I don't know. Looking at Copilot, it was a headache.
okay. So
So
Copilot is 0, and so this would be 25.
right, yeah.
Yeah, and then Perplexity
I would
did
go with 90 even. Yeah, that
90.
seems
Okay,
yeah.
and then we have Claude AI,
Claude AI gives you a very
close to 0,
off
I guess.
the rail, yeah, close to zero. I would also say it's zero because it's
Okay.
not.
All
Yeah,
right.
so
So there we
yeah,
go. So who is our winner? We have Perplexity is the
GP,
clear winner, a very clear winner.
yeah,
And then we have ChatGPT, of
yeah,
course, close. And
yeah.
the other three are all the same. So Gemini, Copilot, and Claude AI. And out of these also, based on how we saw the representations and all of that, I think Perplexity did pretty well in representing mathematical formula and so forth. ChatGPT
Mhm.
also came very close, but of course, I mean, based on these three aspects, coding, physics, solving physics questions or solving mathematics questions, which we believe will be very useful for anyone,
Yeah.
in school or at university level or whichever level you are in. But if you are in these fields, it will be very useful. So you all should probably get used to Perplexity, I would say, at the moment,
Yeah, and
and
of course, yeah, just
ChatGPT.
so we can add, if you have Perplexity AI, then you have the academic version of Perplexity AI where you can also summarize research papers as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
that also could come in handy for many researchers and many high school and undergraduate students, graduate students, and yeah, researchers. Yeah. So
Okay.
and also I want to point this out that if you like look into Gemini and Copilot, these two have also different ways of, like, for example, take the coding example. So Gemini is code very low in the coding example compared to Copilot, whereas it was flipped the other way around when it was a very simple question, simple physics question.
Yes.
So it's very important to keep in mind that when you're asking the question, you need to select the correct GPT model. Whereas if you really look in closely in the coding example, you can see that Perplexity AI, even though it was a clear winner overall, when it came to coding, ChatGPT, Copilot, and Claude AI scored more than that.
Yeah, that's true.
I believe that it depends on purely on what we are searching and what we are looking into. So we
Yes.
can improve this table in future videos,
Yes, definitely.
so that for various other applications, how these five GPTs perform, we can assess those things.
Yes, and we will be sharing this link with y'all. So y'all
Yeah.
can anytime, at any time, go to this link and see how these platforms have performed. Of course, we anticipate that these models will improve over time. And
Yeah.
our final advice to you is don't rely 100% on any of these models. Of course, you can use it to augment your learning. That is definitely possible. Use technology to augment your learning experience and to understand concepts better, but never ever rely on these GPTs 100% for any of your solutions. That we are probably not there yet. So that is the final advice that we can give you.
So
And
basically,
yeah.
looking into the overview of what we did today in this video, if you don't have a correct understanding on what's happening, then you're going to be in deep trouble
That's true.
with GPT models currently.
You need to have at least the basic understanding of whatever you're
Yes,
asking the
yes,
model.
yes, yes.
Yes,
And you
that's
need to
true.
be aware of that particular industry to look into it, because we never ran the codes, but
Yeah.
still we found out problems.
That's
Imagine
true.
if we start debugging those codes.
Yeah, 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 definitely. So we will use, of course, more real world examples in future, and we will try to run those live and check as well, so that we
Yeah.
can give a more accurate conclusion on the codings. But for now, this is it from us. Thank you very much for joining. Of course, like and share this video and subscribe to our channel, and we will bring you more videos with regard to artificial intelligence in the near future. See you.
Have a good day.